Hello and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to the game set in the HORUS Heresy. I am your host, David Brains, and I've been joined by Tom and Michael. Good morning, gents.
Morning.
Good morning.
Now, these guys have brought two absolutely spectacular armies to the channel. We've got some amazingly painted word bearers. Congratulations on those. And the channel first, we've got some Blackshields.
Cool.
Really cool looking force.
Cheers.
A lot of time and effort has gone into both of these armies, and we're going to explore them in a little bit. But first, I need to thank these two guys. They've come a long way this morning, nice and early as well.
Yeah.
I know Tom has had some children.
Yes, two twins, my own little fire son of my gun, so it's pretty cool.
Wow, I like it. So he's very tired, but he's put in some good effort today, so thank you so much for that. And you both sort of come from Middlesex and North London, is that right?
Correct.
So they are actually really close, which is good news, because I think we have a feeling we're going to see these guys again, hopefully.
Yeah, no,
if they have a good day, so we'll see. As I mentioned, this is a really unique matchup. Blackshields, we've never had them on before. I don't even know how they work. I have read the rules a little bit this morning, but we're relying on Michael really to steer us through.
Okay. Right.
Just give us the top line.
So Blackshields are quite unique. They don't take rights of war. They take rorts by war. And I've gone for Outlander. So they're kind of scavenger using forbidden technology. The Emperor isn't particularly proud of what they use. And equally, I don't want to work for the War Master. So I'm going solo as it is.
It's really cool, and there's some really, really awesome conversions, and the paint scheme's really unique, and I love the fact that they've kind of rubbed off all of the red or the blue or whatever Legion they were before, and they've kind of gone for this matted, muted colour. Looks fantastic.
Cheers, yeah.
Looks
Pleased
really cool. And I love the capes on them as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that's quite... a lot of people comment on the capes and the shotguns, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a unique-looking force, something that you don't normally see when you see games of Heresy, but equally something that stands out as a Heresy army. I didn't want to get confused with 40k or anything like that. So it's all Mark III, you know, power axes, lots of infantry, because that's what Heresy is about. Yeah. Mass infantry running at each other.
Looks cool. And we've got a Stormlord as well.
So yeah, mass infantry with a mass transport. It's a bit of a coffin for them, really. 50-50. Some games last half an hour. Some games last 3 hours. Depends what happens to the Stormlord, really. I've learned my lessons with it, though, so hopefully you'll have a game to watch today and not just a long deployment.
I think we'll be all right. It's going to look good. And Tom, you know, one of the best word bearers forces I've seen for a very long time.
Thank you very much.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you. I've been very excited painting them. I love the color. I love also the fact that you can do pretty much whatever you want because they're like tainted by chaos. You have the possess on one side and just beautiful models. Ashen Circle models are absolutely stunning. Which I just love them. And
you've got 10 Gal Vorbak as well.
Yes, 10 of them. 5 that I made my own. On my own, just copy what's on the internet. But there's some people do some very good stuff, so it's nice. And just they pack a nasty punch if they get in combat first. So yeah, I need to crack these nuts, and then it's gonna be Christmas.
I think the Stormlord needs a turn of shooting at that Gal Vorbak before they can before they can hit hard. But
I don't know how I feel about that. No.
But you've brought an old school Chaos Dread.
Yes. So I had that when I was 16, I think, or 14, or something like that. And that's what I was saying is with the actual word bearers, you can bring those old models that look absolutely stunning. Yeah. And if I don't win, I can always throw it at my opponent, and this way I know
knock him out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm pleased to say as well, you've not brought Demon Allies yet.
No, I haven't.
So that's really good. You know, book 9 is just around the corner. I think we're filming this the weekend before the weekend, actually. Yeah. It's next weekend, isn't it?
Isn't that 8?
Sorry?
Book 8?
Sure, but I think demons will be a bit more defined in book 9. And then they might pass over into word bearers as well. We don't really know yet. The books, we know the rough contents of the book. We don't know the detail of it, of course. But I think it will change how demons interact with heresy going forward from book 9. So I think it'd be quite interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've both got some really tough forces. You've both got an Arcus. You know, Michael, you've got the Venator there that might crack the Spartan, or the Leviathan as well. I think the Leviathan's going to be tough for you to deal with.
Always scary coming across a Leviathan.
Got a lot of las cannons though.
Got a lot of las cannons, not twin link las cannons, unfortunately.
No.
Leviathans, yeah, big thing that really pops my army really well. I'm just glad it's not on a drop pod, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not. It's his little guy who's in his own drop pod at the moment. But yeah, just he's planning on doing the guard at the crossroad. You know, stop, don't move.
I'll meet you there then.
Yeah, exactly.
The mission we've got for you today is we're using Dominion, but we're using the special condition one where it's just 3 objectives and they're right in the middle of the board. And there's a 6-inch to claim the objectives around there. So they're essentially pieces of terrain, and then the middle objective is just open terrain. So essentially what we've got is the word bearers are on this planet. They've brought it to compliance. So there's a lot of debris and all sorts of stuff after they've blown the city apart. And we're straddling some badlands, a defense line, and a city as well. So it's got a bit of a half and half aspect to it. And you'll see how I built the board in the billboard video at the end of the thing. I spent a lot of time building that. A lot of thought has gone into this board for this game in particular. And we've got the Blackshields. They're kind of, like you said, they're kind of marauders, aren't they?
Yeah, they're here for a reason. They're not going to share it with anybody. But once they've got their reason, they're going to leave and take their trophies with them, hopefully.
Good stuff. And as they've come in and doing whatever they're doing, they've come across this word bearer force. And the battle will commence from there. So we've got the clash of the lines, so the triangular pointed, and then we're doing Dominion, as I said. I think it's going to be a spectacular game, a very good-looking game, no doubt. I love the colour of the deep, rich red and kind of the muted tones. I think the two will go quite together, and then you're on the grey slate and the black of the sand. So I think it will look really fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this, guys.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited. The board looks amazing.
Good.
Beautiful army. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
It's everything the channel's all about, models and boards and games. So really pleased to have secured these today. Let's get on with it. Let's find out exactly what they've got in their lists, and then we'll see at the beginning of turn 1.
2,500 points of word bearers, led by a Praetor with the warlord trait Conquerors of Cities. Leading the force of the word bearers is a Praetor equipped with an Artificer armor, Iron Halo, Paragon Blade, Power Fist, and he has Burning Lore. His psychic power are Smite as the primaries and Hemorrhage. Accompanying him is a Chaplain that is the model of Erebus, but we're proxying for a Chaplain. He has a Artificer armor, Melta Bombs, Refractor Field, Combat Blade, Power Axe, and also has Burning Lore. His psychic power are Psychic Shriek as the primaries and Mental Fortitude. First elite's choice is 10 Gal Vorbak Dark Brethren. There are 2 Power Mole in there, and the Dark Martyr is equipped with an Artificer armor and a Power Fist. The Gal Vorbak will be riding in a Spartan Assault Tank, and it is a heavy support choice, and it is equipped with Dozer Blade and Flare Shields. Second elite choice is a Legion Dreadnought equipped with 2 Hunter Killer missiles, twin-wing glass cannon, and a Dreadnought Chenfist, which has inside a graviton gun. It is in a Legion drop pod. And third elite choice is a Apothecary with a jump pack. The Apothecary will be joining the Assault Squad. First troop squad is 10 Assault Marines equipped with Melta Bombs. There are 2 Power Axes that are represented by the models that have the box on the shoulder pad. The Surgeon has a Artificer armor, bolt pistol, and a Power Axe. Please note that those are the Ashen Circle models, but they're so gorgeous that I cannot help it to want to play it every single game. So they are my Assault Marines. Second troop choice is a squad of 12 Tactical Marines equipped with bolters. The Surgeon has Artificer armor and Power Fist. Third troop choice is 12 Tactical Marines equipped with bolter. The Surgeon has a Artificer armor and Power Sword. Second heavy support choice is a Leviathan Siege Dreadnought equipped with Gryflux Bombard, a Leviathan Siege Drill, Foxfex Dischargers, and 2 Heavy Flamers. Third and final heavy support choice is a Sicarian Arcus Strike Tank with Twin Arcus Launcher and Sky Spear Warheads.
2,500 points of Blackshields led by a Reaver Lord. He'll be joining the larger squad of 20 men who get to deep strike in due to their wrought by war, which is Outlanders. The Reaver Lord's Warlord trait is Princeps of Deceit, which will allow me to call some pinning checks on infantry units. Leading the Blackshields is Trajan, a Reaver Lord. He's equipped with Artificer Armour and Iron Halo. He also has a Cyber Familiar and his mastercrafted Halo Blade. The first elite's choice is a Terminator squad equipped with Tartarus Terminator Armour. Each model is equipped with a Volkite Charger and Chain Fist, and they've got a Dreadclaw dedicated to transport. The Sergeant is equipped with Rag Grenades. Troop choice 1 and 2 are very similar. The first one consists of 20 Marauders with 4 Power Axes, a Power Fist and a Sergeant, and they all are equipped with Chain Axes and Rag Grenades. Each squad also has an Apothecary. The second squad is only 15 men with 3 Power Axes. Heavy support slot number 1 consists of an Arcus Strike tank with las cannon sponsons, Dozer Blade. Second heavy support slot consists of a Sicarian Venator equipped with Armoured Ceramite and Dozer Blade. The army includes a Lord of War choice consisting of a Stormlord equipped with 2 lots of sponsons, of a las cannon and twin-linked heavy bolters. The main armament of the Stormlord is the Vulcan Mega Bolter.
Thomas, Michael, we are deployed, ready to go, yes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Really looking forward to this. Michael, you've not got a lot on the board.
No, it's all in reserve at the moment. The Blackshields will make an appearance as the game goes on.
Great stuff. And Thomas, a lot of your forces on the board, and you're kind of surrounded the city at this end here.
Yeah, well, we're here to defend and take the city, so, you know, might as well have a lot of things out, and Drop Pod is coming out, hopefully, on turn 1.
Great stuff. All right, well, at the moment, the word bearers are going first, but the Blackshields want to seize, yes?
Yes, indeed. So they're going to try and seize right now.
All right, good stuff. Let's have a friendly handshake, gents, before we do that.
Good luck.
Good luck to you.
All right, let's have a look.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, well.
On to word bearers, turn 1. Word bearer, turn 1, movement phase. The drop pod landed and disgorged the dreadnought that is looking at the Sicarian or the Arceus. Pretty much all the rest of the army pushed forward, moving full cover when they could. The Arceus is looking at the Lord of War, or potentially his nemesis pair, and the Assault Marine move through dangerous terrain, but nobody suffered a wound. Wordbearer, turn 1 shooting. The Dreadnought opened up with its Graviton gun. Luckily clipped both the Arceus and the Lord of War. And now we're going to roll to see what the damage is. On a 1, it does nothing. 2 to 5, it's a glancing hit. And on the 6, it's a penetrating hit. So here we go. Now for the Arceus first. Nothing. And for the Lord of War, nothing!
That's quite good for me.
Yeah. Next up is the last cannon. So hitting on 3s, it hits, and glancing on 5, penetrating on 6, nothing. The Dreadnought touched the side of the Arceus with both of its Hunter-Killer missile. So now it's going to be a 4 to glance and 5-6 to pen. 1 glance. Could you take a cover save, please?
Yep, so Ark's going to get a 6+ save for Night Fight, and he makes it.
Well done. Very, very poor turn of shooting for the Dreadnought. Unfortunately, the Arceus is out of range, but he'll make that up next turn, hopefully, if he survives. Then it's turn for the Spartan to shoot. It will put one of its quad blast cannon onto the Arceus, and the second one, thanks to Power of the Mission Spirit, into the Venator. So let's roll. First one, starting with the Venator. Hitting on 3s. Rerolling. Fail. And strength 9, side armor 12, so it would be a 3 to glance, 4 to penetrate. And nothing. Now, moving on to the HORUS. 3 pluses to hit. 1 hit, re-rolling. Both hits. And now front armor is 13, so it's 4 plus. And I have 1 penetrating hit.
So, because I'm in cover and I've got night fight, I'm getting a 4-up cover save, which I fail.
So now let's roll on the penetrating table. I got +1 because it's an AP2 weapon. So let's hope that I get a 6. No, 3, so crew shaken. Everything that could run. So everything run very, very well as well. It was all 6s, so we are pushing forward.
Blackshields turn 1 movement phase. The Blackshields try to take advantage of the word bearers missing their shots, and as such, the Dreadclaw tried to come down behind his lines. Unfortunately, due to a mishap, Thomas was able to place the Dreadclaw wherever he liked, and he put it right at the far end of the field. In response to that, the Stormlord has moved around the corner beside the Dreadclaw now, lining up at the Arcus, while the Venator lines up a shot on the Spartan, and the Arcus gets ready to open fire on his Dreadnought.
The word bearer Arcus is gonna intercept, thanks to its Sky Spear warhead, the Dreadclaw that just landed. So it's a heavy 4 terminal tracking Skyfire weapon, which means that successful jinx and cover save against the weapon must be rerolled. Are you gonna be jinking?
The Dreadclaw's gonna jink in response to this shooting.
Okay, so let's go and let's roll the dice. So 4 shots on 3 up. Reroll this one. So 3 misses, 1 passes, strength 7 against an armor value of
12.
12. So we need 5, and we miss.
Turn 1 Blackshield shooting. The Arcus has lined itself up for a round of shooting at the Dreadnought. As I only pivoted, I get to fire twice. Okay, so the first round, only 2 hits, and I'm going to roll the next 4 dice as well. And 3 hits in total. So that's a total of 5 hits. I'm going to roll now to see if I do any damage to the Dreadnought. And I'm successful with 2 pens and 1 glance.
Okay. So which one would you like me to take first?
Do the glance.
Okay. So the Dreadnought is in the building, gets a 4 cover shade, plus we have night fighting, so it's a 3-up cover shade. So glance first. It passes. Then the 2 penetrating hit. Oh, 1 fails.
So the 1 penetrating hit result is a 4, which is shaken. The Arcus fired its left-hand las cannon sponson at the Dreadnought, which it managed to immobilise the Dreadnought for the rest of the game. The Sickven had lined itself up perfectly for a shot on the Spartan. It fired and hit with only 1 round. Unfortunately, I failed to do any damage to the vehicle. One benefit of a Stormlord is he's able to target more than 1 unit in a round of shooting. For this round, 3 las cannons are going to line themselves up on the Arcus and 1 las cannon round on the Dreadnought over there in cover. I'm going to roll for the single las cannon hitting his Dreadnought, which is behind cover, which is a hit. Now I'm going to need to roll on a 3-up to do any damage, which is a glance. Now, because he's in cover, Thomas is going to get a decent save. I'm
getting a 4-up cover save, which he failed, and he is, well, we'll see if it's wrecked or destroyed. Show it us.
Okay, I'm going to roll now to see if I get the explosion on the chart, because anything else is just destroyed, which isn't, so it's just removed.
And the Dreadnought crumples.
3 las cannons have lined themselves up on the Arcus, and they're going to take shots now. Out of the 3 shots, only 2 managed to hit. I'm going to now see if I do any damage to this Arcus by rolling a 4-up for a glance. 2 glancing hits. Because it's night fight, Thomas will get his 6-up cover save.
2 6-up coming up. No.
Blackshield end of turn 1. Very pleased with the results so far. The pesky Wordbearer Dreadnought's now gone out of that cover, and I'm starting to make a few scratches on these remaining vehicles.
Wordbearer turn 2 movement. The assault squad push forward, seeking cover of the buildings from any of those scary guns. The rest of the army push forward as fast as they could.
the HORUS will be providing some kind of unexpected cover, and the last tactical squad on the right is pushing forward, but is struggling due to difficult terrain. Wordbearer turn to shooting. The only thing that can shoot is the Spartan, who has its 4 last quadrant aimed at the Spartan Venator that must die. There's going to be no cover because night fighting is no longer in effect. So 3s to hit with reroll. No, so 3 hits, 4 to glance, 5 to pens, and it's AP2, and we have 1 penetrating and 1 glance. Rolling on a vehicle damage table for the penetrating hit, because it's an AP2 weapon, I get +1. 3 turns into a 4, which is crew stun. Run movement, the assault squad push forward. Pretty much everything push forward as well, making sure that we can go as quickly as possible in contact with the enemy, because we cannot shoot, but at least we can run forward and scream all the blessing of the ruinous powers.
Blackshield turn 2 movement phase. The Venator, due to not being able to shoot this turn, has cowered back into cover, while the HORUS has moved itself up to get a shot off on the Wordbearer HORUS as the Stormlord trudges up the left-hand side of the field, lining up some shots with some eager marauders inside ready to get into combat. As the Dreadclaw spins itself forward as it flies off towards the back line of the Wordbearers. Blackshield turn 2 shooting. The HORUS has lined itself up. It's going to shoot its left-hand las cannon sponson at the rival HORUS. So here we go, 1 las cannon round hitting on a 3. Which is a hit. Okay, so I am strength 9, and he is front armor 13, so I'm rolling 4s to glance, 5s to pen. And it's a 3. Okay, that's unfortunate. The HORUS has fired 4 out of 5 rounds at the Wordbearer HORUS, 3 have hit, so now I'm rolling to see if I do any damage. 5s to glance, 6 to pen. And that is 1 penetrating hit. Due to the mount being obstructed by the cover, Thomas is going to receive a 5-up cover save.
Which is passed.
Flipping heck. The Stormlord has lined itself up for 2 targets this round. 3 of the Sponson las cannons are going to try and pop that HORUS this turn, while 2 twin-linked heavy bolters and the Vulcan mega bolter rip into the Wordbearer tactical squad in the open. 2 of the las cannon rounds did damage to the HORUS. 1 was a glance and 1 was penetrating hit. I'm going to now roll on the damage table to see what the result was of the penetrating hit, which is a roll of a 6, which will become a 7. Explodes. The Stormlord is going to now fire its Vulcan Mega Bolter at the 8 Wordbearers of the squad that it can actually see. 4 kind of being obstructed there by the scenery. So I'm hitting on 3s, 15 rounds, strength 6, AP 3. Brilliant. That's a really successful round with only 3 misses. So that's 12 hits in total. Being strength 6, toughness 4, I'm fishing for 2s. And that is a total of 9 dead Wordbearers, but I could only see 8 of them to begin with. The Stormlord's left twin-linked heavy bolter sponson can see the 4 remaining Marines, so I'm going to get 3 shots, twin-linked, hitting on 3s, 3 of which hit, lovely, followed by 3s to wound. 2 wounds.
And I got 2 armor save from the surgeon on his artificial armor, 2 up. He's dead.
Fantastic.
The tactical squad has lost more than 25%, so it needs to take a leadership test. Luckily, I'm a word bearer, and my Legion trait allows me to roll 3 dice and pick the 2 lowest. And they are staying.
End of Blackshield turn 2. Quite happy with that round. The Stormlord has done a wonderful job this turn. It's really destroyed most of that tactical squad, and the HORUS being gone was a massive threat to that Dreadclaw. So hopefully next round we'll see some close combat.
Turn 3, Wordbearer movement. The remaining of the tactical squad push forward toward the objective. The Spartan and the Leviathan are going closer to the bigger threat. The second tactical squad ran forward and got a wonderful 6, so they are now on the objective and hopefully will score at the beginning of next turn. And the Assault Marine keep pushing forward. Word Bearer turn 3 shooting phase. The only thing that can shoot at the moment is the Spartan, who has both of his Quaslas cannon looking at the side armor of the Lord of War. So let's see if it hits. 3+ twin linked. 3 hits, 4 hits, all hit, which is quite exciting. Now the side armor is 13, strength 9. I will be glancing on 4 and penetrating on 5 up. Oh, nice! 2 penetrating hit. Because it is a Lord of War, the damage, vehicle damage table doesn't really come in effect unless I have a 6. But because my weapons are AP2, I get +1, and because it's an open top vehicle, I get +1. So on 5 pluses, I get a deep 3+ on the damage, which I don't. So 2 whole points down. At the end of the Word Bearer shooting phase, though the whole army run forward, again, very, very good roll on the run. Now we are fully set on the objective, and we're facing the threat that is supposed to come in. So let's do this.
Turn 3 movement phase for the Blackshields. We see the Reaver Lord arrive with his unit of marauders coming out from the crates as they head towards the centre of the table. The Stormlord has pivoted itself round on its side there, lining up shots onto that Leviathan as the Marauder squad inside disembark, heading towards one of the objectives. The Dreadclaw landed in the centre of the board, holding the centre while reinforcements are on their way, choosing carefully if they're going to go for the Leviathan or the Spartan. Over in the corner, the Sick Ven has pivoted itself to try and get a rear shot on the Spartan, as the Arcus has multiple targets of opportunity, and we'll wait to see what happens at the start of the shooting phase. Blackshield shooting phase turn 3. The Sick Ven has lined itself up with a shot on the rear of the Spartan, so the flare shield will not be taken into account for this round of shooting. However, there is a 4-up cover save due to it being obstructed and 25%. So 2 shots hitting on 3 from the Venator's main weapon. Both shots hit. Due to being ordnance, I roll 2d6, picking the highest. I am strength 10, so I am fishing for 4s for the glance, but 5 and 6s for those pens. So the first round is a penetrating hit, and the second round is also a penetrating hit.
So 2 saves, 4+. No.
Right, moving on. I am AP1, so I'm adding 2 to my dice roll here. I am really hoping to get 5s. 2 5s. That's fantastic. That is explodes twice. The Arcus moved at its combat speed, allowing me to fire all 3 weapons onto the Leviathan this turn. The missile system has already shot and hit 3 times. I'm now looking to do damage. I'm looking for 5s or 6s. That is 1 glance and 1 penetrating hit on the Leviathan. Now you will receive your normal cover save.
I think it's a 4-up invuln. Which one do you want to take first?
Go for the glance first.
Okay, glance first, 4-up. Fail, and then the penetrating hit makes it.
So just 1 whole point from that round of shooting so far. Now, both sponsons are las cannons, and both can see the Leviathan, and both going to take a shot. So, hitting on 3s, 1 hit, 1 miss, and as a result of that now, I'm looking for 4s to glance and 5s to pen. Nothing. So that's the shots for the Arcus in this round. The Stormlord this round is positioned in such a way that only 2 of the sponsons can shoot. These are the 2 left-hand las cannons, which are going to both take shots at the Leviathan, and that will be it for shooting this round. So, hitting on 3s, both hit, fantastic. Hitting front armour, which is 13, strength 9 las cannons, so I need 4s. Both failed to penetrate this round. The Tartarus Terminators are going to shoot their Volkite weapons at the Gal Vorbak that have disembarked from the Spartan. This is 10 shots, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s with deflagrate. So, 5 hits. Looking for 4s to wound. That's 4 wounds in total.
So I have 2 armor, 2 3-ups before it gets onto the Dark Martyr. So I'll do it 2 at a time. So 3 up, both pass. Everything passes.
Blackshield turn 3 shooting ends with both Marauder squads running towards the centre. I've got the smaller squad going for the tiny objective, while the larger squad with my Warlord heads towards the Gal Vorbak. Blackshields turn 3 assault phase. The Terminators have charged the Gal Vorbak successfully. The Gal Vorbak overwatched into the Terminators, which have no casualties as a result of. The Gal Vorbak are now going to strike at initiative step 5.
So the Gal Vorbaks are composed of 10 men. In there we have 2 power mold that I will do separately, and 1 dark matter that will be hitting with his power fist at initiative 1 that we'll do afterwards. So now, getting into 3 attack base for each of them. 21 hit on 3 pluses. Rerolling fail hit thanks to the chaplain. So not bad at all, only 3 miss. So now, strength 5 against toughness 4, so I'll be wounding on 3 and rending on 6s. So we want to see those 6s. 1, 2, 3 rending, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wounds on top.
Okay, so starting with the Tartarus armor saves. I'll do the rending in a moment. That's 6 2-up armor saves from Tartarus Terminator armor. 1 dead Terminator from the normal wounds, followed by 2 invulnerable saves due to the rending. 3 saves. So a total of 3 dead Terminators from that round.
So still striking before those pesky Terminator, the Praetor wants to make them pay. So he has 5 attacks that are hitting on 3s. Rerolling thanks to the chaplain. So all hit. Thanks to the Paragon Blade, he'll be winning on 3 and it's AP 2. So all but 2. So please give me 3 invulnerable save.
So 3 invulnerable saves from the remaining 2 Terminators. All
and
die.
They are wiped. Fantastic news about wiping up the Terminators that charge. The unit consolidates 2 inches. Very good for us.
Blackshield, end of turn 3. Find myself in a bit of an odd place. Happy the Spartan's no longer with us. However, really wish those Terminators could stay in the fight a little bit longer to hold up those Gal Vorbak. I can see them being a real pain as the game goes on.
Wordbearer, turn 4 movement. The Gal Vorbak have pivoted and are now facing the Riverlord and his squad. And so is the Leviathan Dreadnought. The technical squad has shuffled behind the crates to contest the objective, but make it a little bit difficult for the Marauder squad to charge. On the other side, the Assault squad are now moved through covered and are now facing the Venator and the Sicarian Arcus, and the second tactical squad is still in cover holding the objective, which scored a victory point. Wordbearer turn 4 psychic phase. First psychic phase of the game, the Praetor got so excited that in harnessing the warp with the power hemorrhage, he suffers a peril of the warp and lost 1 wound. It went on to the medic, who failed the test, but luckily for him, managed his feel no pain. Wordbearer turn 4 shooting. We're opening up with the Leviathan Dreadnought and his Phosphate Discharger. It scored a mighty 12 hit, and we're gonna see how many die. So we have on 3 pluses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wounds, which although they're AP2, you get a feel no pain for.
Okay, so 5 up feel no pain from the apothecary. And I've got a total of 5 dead Marauders.
The Leviathan opened up next with his Gradflux Bombard, scoring 8 hit, which 7 of the Marauders failed their endurance test. Sorry. So please, could you give me some feel no pain wounds?
Yep, 7 feel no pain on 5 up. And as a result of that, 4 more dead Marauders this round.
Lastly, the Leviathan will fire with his melta gun inside his fist, hitting on 2s, hits, killing on 2s. 1 more dead Marine because he doesn't get a feel no pain because it's double their toughness. The Gal Vorbak will now shoot at the same target as the Leviathan, which is the Blackshields Warlords squad. So we have 9 bolt pistol from the Gal Vorbak hitting on 3s. So all hit but 1. Now wounding on 4s. And we have only 1 wound. Could you please do a save?
So 1 3-up armor save from the Marauders from their power armor. And it's a 6.
Okay. And now the Praetor will be hitting on 2s, hit, wounding on 4 again, please.
1 more save on a 3-up, which I fail. Which I take my now feel no pain check, which I also fail.
Bullseyes. The Marauder squad had to take a leadership test due to losing more than 25% of their numbers, which they passed successfully. The tactical squad decided to do a cheeky shot at the other Marauder squad, but didn't score a wound nor kill. Wordbearer turned for assault. Absolutely phenomenal roll on the charge distance. The Leviathan and the Gal Vorbak made it into the Blackshields Warlord squad, scoring respectively a 10 and a 7-inch charge. And on the other side, the tactical, the Assault Marine squad made it into the Venator with a mighty 12. Combat between the Assault Marines and the Venator. So we have 10 hit on 3 pluses to be able to put melta bombs onto the back of the Venator. Out of it, we only miss twice, so that's 8 hit. And with the melta bomb, we're gonna roll 2 dice for each. So first one is a penetrating. Second one is also a penetrating. Great news, the 8 hit converted into 8 penetrating hit, which result in the explosion of the Sicarian Venator. Unfortunately, the explosion took 2 of the Assault Marine with it. The big comeback is starting now. The Leviathan was the first one to hit the squad, making Overwatch useless against his front armor. The Praetor issued a challenge against the River Lord, which he accepted. And the Gal Vorbak are now going to be the first one to hit on the first one. And additionally, let's not forget that the Leviathan on his charge Hammer of Wrath issued 1 wound to the River Lord. Starting at Initiative 5, the Gal Vorbak with a regular weapon have a total of 45 attacks. Brilliant result thanks to the Chaplain, 32 hit. And now let's roll to see how many wounds was rend. So 3 pluses and 6 are rendered. So we see quite a few rendered. I'll put that on the side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The results are in. The Gal Vorbak scored 7 rend and 16 wounds.
16 power armor saves of 3-up, of which 1, 2, 3, 4 failed, followed up by their Feel No Pain. So a total of 4 dead Marauders. 7 Feel No Pain saves from the rending. Total of 3 more dead Marauders.
Now strike the Gal Vorbak with the Power More stroke, hit 9 times and managed to successfully inflict 3 wounds and an additional 4 rend hits, wounds.
So 3 power armor saves of 3-up, 1 failed, followed by a Feel No Pain, which he failed. So that's 1 dead Marauder, and 4 Feel No Pains from the rending attacks. 3 more dead Marauders.
Very happy with the result from the Gal Vorbak, who wiped the squad. Now we're moving on to the challenge. And the Praetor will hit 5 times with his Paragon Blades. So our weapon skills are identical, 6, so 4 up. Rerolling thanks to the Chaplain on the first round of combat. So we have 4 hits. And now wounding on 3 pluses. 1 cog die, all wound and 1 instant death. Could you please take the instant death first?
Okay, so I've got a refractor field with a cyber familiar, so I'm looking at a 4-up save, which I fail.
But you fight at the same time because we have the same initiative?
Yep, so the Reaver Lord striking back has 4 attacks with his Halo Blade, hitting on 4s. So a total of 2 hits, no Mastercrafted with this weapon. I'm at strength 7 this round, and you're at toughness 3 due to the rag grenades. So fishing 4 freeze. That is 1 wound.
1 wound on 2 up, which he passes.
Okay, so Reaver Lord died horribly there.
The Gal Vorbak squad consolidate a mere 1 inch and the Leviathan 4 inches. Very, very happy with this turn. We got rid of the big threat, which was the Reaver Lord and his squad that was in the back end, and the Second Venator. So, yeah, happy.
Blackshields turn 4 movement phase. We see the Dreadclaws flying over both the Gal Vorbak and the Leviathan, and due to the Heat Blast attack, could have done some damage, unfortunately did nothing. The Marauders have walked up the field a little bit, hesitant of the Leviathan. However, the Stormlord and the Arcus have positioned themselves in such a way that they get shots at both the Gal Vorbak and the Leviathan this round. Blackshield, turn 4, shooting phase. I'm going to start with the Arcus. It's going to open up with its missile launchers to begin with. This is 4 shots, hitting on 3s. 3 hits. At strength 8, the sidearm of the Leviathan is 12. So I'm looking for 4s to glance, 5s to pen. That's 2 penetrating hits. So if you'd like to take your 2 invulnerable saves, please.
Yes, and both passed.
Okay, not a problem. Moving straight onto the las cannon round. So this is a single shot. It's not twin linked, unfortunately. Hitting on 3s. That will do. That's a 6. Now, because it's strength 9 and your side armor 12, again, I'm looking for 3s to glance, 4s to pen. And it's a 1, so not this turn. The Stormlord is going to start off its shooting phase by targeting both the Leviathan with the sponsons and the Mega Bolter and the other sponsons onto the Gal Vorbak. I'm going to start by rolling 2 las cannons from the sponsons onto the Leviathan. Needing 3s to hit. That is 1 hit. At strength 9 and front armor 13, I'm looking for 4s to glance and 5s to pen. And again, nothing. So not a particularly good round so far. The Stormlord has opened up with its Mega Bolter, causing a total of, out of 30 shots, 20 hit, 8 of which have caused an invulnerable save.
And now I have 8 demon save of 5 up. So 1, 2 passes, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wounds. The Gal Vorbak failed 6 demonic save, so that means 3 of them fall.
After the Mega Bolter fired, I opened up with both 2 las cannon sponsons and a fixed heavy bolter. Unfortunately, the heavy bolter caused no wounds, but the las cannon did kill another Gal Vorbak. The Black Shield Marauder squad, beside the containers, have opened up into the tactical squad, hiding from the Stormlord. Out of a total of 22 shots, 7 have caused wounds.
And now let's roll 3 ups and 2 fall, which will lead to a leadership test. Thanks to the Legion special trait, I roll 3 dice and keep the loss, which is 10. They run.
Brilliant. Okay.
Up, and they run 2 inches.
Black Shield, end of turn 4. I'm in a bit of an awkward situation now. However, the tactical squad running away puts me in a good position. I'm now running very low on models. And due to the Black Shield rule, I'm going to have to start rolling leadership checks for my last squad at the beginning of both of our turns.
Wordbearer turn 5, movement phase. This is potentially the last turn of the game. The tactical squad stayed put and scored me another victory point. Then the Assault Marine are moving forward toward the rear of the Arcus to take that down. And on the far field, the Leviathan and the Gal Vorbak and Predator are eyeing at the other Marauder squad. Wordbearer turn 5 shooting phase, very, very quick phase. Nothing is actually going to be shooting because we want to make sure that we make it into that squad in the assault phase. But the assault squad is actually going to throw a crack grenade So on the back of the Sicarian. So it's a 3+ to hit, and it's a fail. Wordbearer turn 5 assault. The assault squad made it into combat with the Sicarian. The Leviathan also made it in combat with the Marauder. However, the Gal Vorbak and the Predator missed their charge, and that's a bit unfortunate, but let's see what the Leviathan can do. The Leviathan in combat has initiative 10, 2 Hammer of Wrath, 1 wounded, which was successfully saved by the Marauder. So now, 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3 hits, killing on 2s, 2 dead.
In response, the Blackshields, unfortunately at Initiative 4, aren't kitted out to deal with Leviathan, so it's going to be all down to the squad chieftain to deal with this one. He's got 2 attacks with his Power Fist. I'm going to go up now, try and smack that Leviathan. 1 hit in total, which isn't too bad. Now I'm really looking to get those 5s to do some damage. Unfortunately, nothing this round.
So you lost the round by 2.
So I'm going to take a leadership check. See what happens. 11. They are fleeing. So let's see how far my men go. But
I will try to sweep in advance, and I can reroll 1 thanks to my special Legion rule. 6.
That would be the end of that Marauder squad.
The Leviathan slaughters them. And consolidate in 3 inches. The Assault Marine charged the back of the Sicarian Arceus, planted 5 melta bombs that exploded the actual vehicle. In the explosion, one of the Assault Marine was blown to pieces. Overall, very happy with this turn. Gotta say, I was not expecting the Leviathan to wipe the whole unit. We're in a good position to win here.
Blackshield, turn 5, movement phase, with very little to move, and it pretty much been the last turn of the game. I've tried to look to score some points. The Dread Claw has landed at this point, ready to disappear behind those buildings during the shooting phase, as the Stormlord has pivoted to try and kill as many units as possible to try and get closer towards that tie. Blackshield, turn 5, shooting phase. The Stormlord has pivoted in such a way that I'm going to be shooting at multiple targets. The left-hand side las cannon sponsons are going to take 2 shots at the Leviathan. Needing 3s to hit. 2 hits, this is exactly what I wanted. Strength 9 of the las cannon against front armor 14. I'm looking for 4s to glance, 5s to pen. They're the 2 pen hits I was looking for. Ooh. That's 2 invulnerable saves, please.
Let's see if he can make it. He makes 1, fails 1. What does it do?
I'm about to roll my 6 to blow it up. Ah, what a shame. So it only becomes crew shaken. The Stormlord is now going to take a shot with its right hand las cannon sponson at the Wordbearer drop pod. Again, hitting on 3s. 1 hit, strength 9 against armor 12. I'm looking for those 3s or 4s. And unfortunately, not today. So it's down to the Vulcan Mega Bolter onto the Assault Marines. Blackshield, turn 5, shooting phase. The Stormlord has completely annihilated the assault squad that was doing a real job behind the rear of the Blackshield force. The Dreadclaw has scuttled away to get behind cover. We have rolled now for variable game length, and this is the end of the game.
That is it. The game is done. I think it's quite obvious who's won the game. I think the Wordbearers have edged it out, haven't they?
A little bit.
A little bit. Let's have a little review quickly about what the game was. So we played Dominion, the special conditions, 6 inches, and the objectives were placed right in the centre of the board, sort of in a long line across the width of it. Thomas, you did an absolutely spectacular job. You scored 2 victory points with that big tax squad in the buildings and the ruins. So congratulations. Michael, yeah, there just wasn't enough troops on the board early on, was there?
No, big thing with this particular list is all the troops are tied up either in reserve or in transports.
Yep.
And the Stormlord is a wonderful vehicle, massive damage output, but all the time it's shooting, I'm not really moving forward with it. So definitely need to make a few amendments for the future. but we'll see. Still love the model.
It's all good, and that's primarily the reason why we went for 3 objectives, not 6, or 5 rather, because it just would have been so many points scored. So we did try to mitigate against that slightly. But Thomas, you scored Warlord and Attrition, so you got some dice.
Yes, I got 2 dice, which
Give us
are
a roll.
So double 4, so that's an additional 4 victory points.
4 victory points on the 2 objectives you've got already. So you score 6, and Blackshields are on 0. So congratulations.
Thank you.
A fantastic win for you. I'm going to start first quickly. Oh my god. Charging.
Yes, so I gotta say I got incredibly lucky with my charge roll, but it's also to mitigate my horrible shooting and the fact that everything was being picked up on the board the first turns. But yes, I think that charge on turn, I believe, 3 really turned the game for me, swing it around. So being able to make it into his big HQ squad with the Leviathan and the Gal Vorbak was game-changing.
And you brought them back as well as your...
I brought them back as my unit because they tank the Terminator that charged them and ripped them to pieces, which luckily didn't tie them up, and they were able to get after that big squad. And I think people forget how dangerous they are. They're brutal on the charge, and I also brought the chaplain because they're fantastic in themselves, but with a chaplain, then you take it to the next level.
Yeah, a lot of people bring a chaplain into a unit because it allows you to reroll the first turn of combat, which is actually quite big. A lot of people tend to miss, not a lot of people, but you tend to miss your first turn. And when you get those rerolls, then they start adding up again and again. And it worked really well. I know you had psychic powers in your list.
Yes.
But I think you only had I think it was only 1 turn, wasn't it? You were just too busy in combat.
only 1 turn, and when I'd done it, it did absolutely nothing except earn me like 1 wound on my warlord.
It was brilliant because when that happened, the rules were a little bit ambiguous, weren't they? Because it says no armor and no invulnerable saves or no saves taken. But Feel No Pain isn't technically a save, is it? It's like an additional rule. So we deemed that you could take Feel No Pain.
Which was to my benefit. So I passed that one after all of that. I mean, Psychic Phase, comes across quite a strong army of psychics, having 2 of them. But it didn't play a massive role, and I didn't feel like I was at my detriment for not having any librarians myself.
No. So it worked okay, didn't it? And Michael, you've brought back your Stormlord.
It was the only thing that survived by the end of the battle, really, wasn't it? So it's the only thing that could be here. Stormlord's very hit and miss as a unit in my army. It either survives to the end of the game or it gets popped turn 1, and so does most of my army. Again, a lot of my army is about models that I really enjoy. I know I can take the power level higher for my list. Big regret for me was that Terminator charge, not charging the Leviathan and being a bit too gung-ho and trying to get into those Gal Vorbak, I think was a big mistake on my part and something I would change for the future.
I think it's really tricky charging a Leviathan with Chain Fist. The Chain Fist will do the job, but they've got to get through the initiative 4 of the levy first because they're striking initiative 1. I don't know. In Tartarus, they've got 5 up in Van. Cataphractia a little bit better. For me, it was a really tough decision for you because you had 2 monstrous units. You could have charged 1, destroyed 1, but then you're going to get counter-charged and destroyed the next turn. It was a tough decision. I think also as well, at some point during the game, you were really lucky with your line of sight. So there was probably a couple of turns where the Stormlord didn't fire to full effect, I don't think.
Yeah, there was a couple of rounds. The Vulcan Mega Bolter wasn't being used to its full effect. The table's absolutely gorgeous. And, it's nice to play on a table with so much line of sight blocking scenery. It really made me think what I was doing with the list, actually. And going forward, how would I handle a table with line of sight blocking scenery?
It's a tricky one. I think it's hard because at club level or if you're at home, a lot of people don't worry about scenery. They just want to roll dice and get stuff into stuff. But I think on the channel, it's really important that we tell that story and I create these boards that look reasonable. And I think it does force people to make different decisions about the terrain. We've always talked about the terrain being the third army on the table, and I think, but I also think as well, it was your drop pod, wasn't it? Your drop pod, it did get in the front of your Stormlord a couple of times, which helped you out a little bit, I think. But I think you both played a spectacular game.
Thank you.
You were here in the billboard video I did before you 2 arrived that I was worried about the Stormlord. and I did try to put a little bit more perhaps line of sight than I would have done, but you still had some really amazing fire lanes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean the board, you know, one side was really heavy ruins, you know, allowed these salt marines to get up on the side, whereas I had open field on the left for me. So yeah, not sour about that at all. Definitely interesting. Want to go forward, make a few adaptations to the list for the future.
I think the table was absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful, and to your point, you had some big avenue of shooting, because if you look at it, the middle and the left-hand side was pretty open. It forced me to run on the one side and then glue the long turn around. So it was tricky, but yeah, it's just fantastic. It's an honor to play on those tables. Fantastic.
My pleasure. You know, we didn't decide the mission or the deployment until the guys got in. We just sat down, looked at the list, and decided what we were going to do. And when I was building the board, I kind of had in my mind that maybe the infantry from the word bearers were going to be in the buildings, and you were going to get these hail of shots. Just you can imagine just this tank strafing the side of the building, taking off chunks of. So I know it didn't quite happen because we played long ways in the end, but well, that's kind of what I had in my head. But anyway, I think it worked out really well. It was a really great result, a really awesome game. These armies are absolutely spectacular. It's really easy for us to say they're well painted, but in the flesh, they are brilliant. So if you see any of these guys at events or at the local clubs where you can see them, then please have a look. I've taken tons and tons of photos because they are really spectacular. But I know you both play at clubs, so where can we find you?
I play with some friends, and they call Agelord Anonymous. I know it's a silly name, it's good. But they're a fun group of people. And also I just wanted to say a big thank you to Miles from Little Legend for painting my airbus, which was my chaplain, and pretty much teaching me how to paint from never using an airbrush to what I've done today.
Wow.
So yeah, his Patreon is fantastic, and I can only recommend it.
Yeah, we were really lucky to have Miles and Jack on the channel on the first game of the month in January, and as a result, Miles put up a small painting tutorial for the Delavarus model that he did. So that's accessible. So if you're a subscriber, you can go back into January and find those. And his tutorials, like you said, his Patreon are fantastic. So please go check Miles's Patreon out. Michael, where can we find you?
So I play in a local club in West London. However, you'll see me all over the UK this year. I pretty much booked myself out now, one event a month between now and September already.
Wow. Oh, wow. You're going to be busy.
I will be indeed. So I'll be travelling around, trying to play as many games against as many cool armies like the word bearers I played against today.
Fantastic. Good stuff. And if you have any direct questions for any of these guys, please contact them direct by Instagram or Facebook. It's really difficult for me to answer your questions because I don't know the list inside out and I don't know your painting technique. So I still get a lot of questions saying, oh, how do you paint that? Well, if you ask the guy direct on Instagram, he'll be able to tell you. I can't tell you. So, Thomas, where can we find you?
On Instagram, I'm d_unspeaking.
Fantastic.
And on Instagram, I'm Urban Panda Ninja, and I go by that handle on forums and all over the internet.
Brilliant. So if I've done my job right, they're on the bottom. Please give them a follow. Please give them a like. Again, if you've got any questions, please ask them direct. And when the games goes up, the photos will go up on Facebook. So if you have any questions about the channel, the board, then I can answer those through that medium. Gents, thank you so much for your time and effort. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. It's been brilliant.
Us, yeah.
We would love to have these guys back. So hopefully they've had a good enough day and I've fed and watered them enough to come back. So we'll definitely get some dates booked in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Good, that's
Don't
good.
fuck around.
It's nice.
It's good. Right.
Do you need coffee?
No. I've had 2 bloody cups already.
I'm going to quickly take my inhaler now, just in case.
Oh my God.
I don't want to be the cause of a reshoot.
I don't want you to have an attack.
I think that needs to go into the cut at the end. You know?
We'll stick it in at the end. We'll see. All right, let's do it.
Now 2 hunter killer missiles. So let's roll 3 to hit. Both hits. We roll 2 dices. First one, 3s to glance and...
No. You roll 2 dice, but they're only 1 each, so they don't add them together.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I can re-roll.
Why?
Because isn't that the rule with the... Don't they have that?
Nope.
Not hunter killers.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so just start off for now. Just say you've the Dreadnought's now found hunter killers inside of the Arcus. Give us always the origin and the target. Okay. We've hit already.
Okay.
Now rolling for damage. Bomb.
And we said again, what's it? You said it's 12.
Side armor 12.
And strength 8, right?
Force to glance.
Force to
5
glance.
to pen.
Okay.
Great stuff. Go.
The Arcus has hit the Dreadnought with its left hand las cannon sponson. I'm now going to roll for the armor pen, which penetrates. And of course, we'll now get a cover save.
3 pluses for the building and the night fight, which I fail.
And the damage on the chart will be a weapon destroyed.
Okay, let's...
Not a weapon destroyed, fuck. 5 is immobilized.
Immobilize, yeah.
No, it's not. What is it on a 5?
5 is weapon destroyed. It's plus 1 with AP1 to 6, so it's immobilized.
Right, sorry, it is immobilized. Shall I just say what happened?
So I think what we'll do is we're not going to do any dice.
Yeah, sorry. The Venator has lined itself up for a shot on the Spartan, firing its beam laser. I get 2 shots due to ordnance. No, not. Sorry, no. Fuck that up.
No, just say you shoot twice,
What's a
and
beam
then
laser.
It's called. I can't pronounce the first word.
Neutron.
Neutron beam laser.
Or its main armament.
Yes.
Armament.
Then fights main cannon, main weapon.
Main weapon's good. Ready?
Yep.
Hang on.
The Sick Ven is lined itself up for a perfect shot with its main weapon at the Spartan, taking 2 hits at it now. 1 hit and 1 misses. So with that 1 hit, due to the flare shield, I'm looking for 5s or 6s to do any damage, which I don't. That's it, isn't it?
It's ordnance. Roll 2 dice, pick the highest result.
Bollocks.
So you didn't do anything, so we're not going to film any of the dice. So we're just going to tell me what happened.
Okay. End of Blackshield turn 1. I'm very pleased that we managed to remove the Dreadnought and started to make a few scratches on the other armoured vehicles in Thomas's list. Oh, bollocks. Sorry,
His army.
His army, yeah, sorry.
In the Word Bearer's army.
Yeah.
could you start with the penetrating, please?
Stop. So there's no cover save because you've already said that.
Yeah.
So now you need to
Yes,
roll the damage chart.
Oh, pardon, sorry.
Cool. So what I'll do now is I'll start. I'm going to move you now because now we've got this opportunity to move. So I'm now going to start you.
I'm trying to like sign language.
Yeah, no, I'm just like...
Pop it there.
Yeah.
So now we want rolling for damage.
Yeah, rolling for damage.
For the penetrate, so you've got 1 glance already. You know, your AP 1, 2.
Yeah,
so you get
so
plus 1 to your roll. So just give me rolling.
Sorry, hold on, wait a second. Can I have the cheat sheet to make sure that I don't fuck it up?
Yeah, sure.
Because I can hide behind.
Do you want me to hold it like that?
That's fine, I have it. Because
just pop it there. Or in your hand, whatever's best. Ready?
Yep.
4 rounds from the Arcus missile launcher. Again, at that vital Arcus in the middle there. Hitting on 3s. 3 out of 4 hits, that's not too bad. And now rolling to pen. I am looking for 4s to glance, 5s to pen. No. Let's do that again. So I got 3 hits and then roll the die. The Arcus has fired 4 missiles at the... let me start again.
I don't have any cover, right?
No.
5 weapons remaining?
Yep.
Okay.
The Stormlord has lined itself up once again for 2 targets. 3 of the sponsored las cannons.
Fingers, don't point. Camera points for you. Go.
The Stormlord has lined itself up for 2 targets this round. 3 of the sponsored las cannons are going to try and pop that Arcus this turn, while 2 twin-linked heavy bolters and the Vulcan mega bolter rip into the Wordbearer tactical squad in the open. So 3 sponsored las cannons from the Baneblade, 1 shot each onto the Arcus.
No.
1.
It says storms.
It's a Stormlord.
What did I say?
Baneblade.
Baneblade.
Oh.
You need them separately because the one's in the front, one's in the side.
Yes, so you have. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So do we need
you want to read?
The Stormlord this round has lined itself up for 2 targets. The 3 sponsons on the Stormlord are going to take a shot at the front and the side of the Arcus, while the 2 twin-linked heavy bolters that can see the tactical squad and the Vulcan mega bolter are also going to take shots at that tactical squad. The sponsons, I've got 2 which are hitting the front arm of the Arcus, so I'm going to roll to hit now, and they roll on a 3. Both of which hit. Due to hitting the front armour of the Arcus, I'm looking for 5s to glance and 6 to pen. I have 1 glancing hit and 1 penetrating hit.
4 to glance, 5 to pen.
Why am I forgetting that so much? Strength 9, not 8. Why am I convinced?
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll cut it after you've declared your targets.
Yep.
And now we'll say 2 las cannons from the Stormlord are in the front arc. 1 has glanced, 1 has penned. and then we'll go into the
Let's grab the cheat sheet because I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
I know I will. So
well, anyway, it's going to be destroyed. Oh, you want to see if it explodes?
The explode won't do anything. It won't touch the Spartan in the explosion.
Yeah.
It's more, I suppose, the Sick then managed to pop the Spartan, which is a result. The Gal Vorbak inside have disembarked, causing 7 wounds in total, but only 1 failed armor save. So the Gal Vorbak are now out in the open for me to take some shots at later on. Moving on to the HORUS, he's moved at combat speed to line up the shots I'm going to need to get onto that Leviathan, who's still going to get their 4-up save. So I'm going to fire the 4 missiles now at the Leviathan. This is the core weapon, so I'm hitting on 3s. Not twin linked, so only 3 hits. Strength 8 versus its front armor of 14. So I'm looking for, oh bollocks, sorry.
13.
It's front armor 13.
Front armor of 13, so strength 8, 5s.
Yeah, so go ahead. So you hit 3 times. The main turret of the HORUS hit 3 times. Now rolling to...
Yeah, Thomas, hang on a minute. I'm just trying to work out where to come in. So we did that. We're going to stop. I think what we'll do is we'll stop.
Blackshields turn 3 finds the Terminators having...
Assault phase.
Oh, sorry, what did I say? Turn 3. Black Shield turn 3 assault phase. We see the Terminators have met their charge. They've ran towards the Gal Vorbak, and we're going to start that initiative step. Oh, I forgot to say about Overwatch.
Have they ran or charged?
Charge, yeah. Black Shield turn 3. The Terminators
missed out assault phase.
Oh, bum. Black Shield turn 3 assault phase. The Terminators have successfully met their charge and have made contact with the Gal Vorbak. Starting at initiative step 5, we have the Gal Vorbak striking first. And then just quickly give me your console.
Okay. 2 inches.
So just give me fantastic news about wiping the Terminators out. The unit consolidates.
Turn 4, Word Bearer turn 4. The Gal Vorbak has turned around.
You missed movement.
Oh, pardon.
Sorry, man.
The River squad had to take a leadership test for losing more than 25%. Fortunately for them, the leadership strength... Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
All we need is the Black Shield pass the leadership test. Okay, yeah. Just keep it...
Yeah, this way. Yeah.
Keep going. Just make it nice and tight.
After all the shooting, the Marauders had to take a leadership test that they passed successfully. The Assault Squad took a cheeky bolt shot and Tactical Squad.
Are they an Assault Squad?
They're tactical.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. Word Bearer turn 4 Assault. We've got fantastic charge result. The Leviathan and the Gal Vorbak made it into the Marauders Warlord squad. And the Assault Marine made it into the Venator. Shall we redo it?
Yeah, what I need is they made 2 massive long bomb charges.
Okay.
You know, you made a 10-inch,
short terrain,
a 7-inch, and a 12-inch charge. You know, that's what I need from you.
Okay.
Because you're trying to build that drama and that. You know, how lucky was that?
Yeah.
16 power armor saves coming up now. That is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dead Marines. Followed up by 7 feel no pains due to the rend.
No, you get feel no pain after your armor save.
Yeah.
Oh, bollocks, sorry.
Do it again.
So sorry.
2 Gal Vorbaks are dead.
3 Gal Vorbaks.
Oh, 3, pardon.
So just give me 3.
Yeah, okay. So 6 wounds have passed, meaning 3 Gal Vorbak full.
Passed or saved or failed?
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
So how many wounds have you lost?
6 wounds. Okay.
Cool.
I've taken 6 wounds.
Okay.
You've taken 6 wounds, yeah, okay. Go.
The Marauders standing behind the bunkers there. No, it looks like ain't no bunkers, they're crates. End of Black Shield's turn 5 shooting phase. The Stormlord completely ripped apart the assault squad that was there, that was going around my back flank. And the Dreadclaw has scuttled away into cover, trying to get away from the Gal Vorbak. However, we're about to see now, due to variable game length, if it's the end of the round. And we go on for turn 6.
No, that's the end of the game.
Oh,
you need a 4+.
sorry, 4. I thought it was 4+ ends it. I'll roll it again. Could you edit that out? Because you kind of spanned over there when I rolled the dice.
Yeah, don't worry. All right, we're going to review the whole thing again.
Okay.
And then we'll say we've done the roll and the game has ended.
Yep.
So tell me all about this. Morning, guys. I sincerely hope you enjoyed that game between the Word Bearers and the Blackshields. Never had Blackshields on the channel before, and I don't think there's many around the community either, so a really interesting game. Well, I say that, you know, I'm filming this before Thomas and Michael have turned up, so I have, at this point, I have no idea how the game has gone. I assume it was a good game. So I'm going to build this board. I'm going to build it before they arrive. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I think it's the 23rd, Sunday the 23rd today, in January. I've been agonising over this board for weeks and weeks and weeks. I haven't totally decided in my head about what I was going to do. I got up quite early this morning, and it kind of just hit me about what I want to do. So I really like the boards that I build. I really like there to be sort of two different type of textures. I like the board I built last time, where it was, you know, half the army was kind of outside the city walls, and then the other half of the army was in the city. And I really like the idea with that again, mainly because it's quite easy to replicate, but also it looks quite different. I like the outside coming in or the inside coming out. I kind of like that. Yeah. So to roughly get out of my head what I'm trying to explain, I'm going to start with 36 inches here, and then we're going to kind of go in a diagonal like that. Maybe like that. Maybe a little bit more. I might actually start at this end and do that. I quite like that. And again, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to use kitchen tiles to make this surface here, and then I'm going to use I'm going to use the Forge World bunker set. Sorry, the barricade set which I've got to create that line running along there. It'll pretty much be straight with some reinforced bunkers along the way. Then we might curl it around this side, and then that side will just be just the black stone we're going to use today. We're not going to use any slate, I don't think. Just the black, almost like it's like black sand, that sort of thing. The reason why I'm doing this is because I know the Blackshield player has got a Stormlord. Now those things are pretty monstrous. For a start, I think it's 12 or 13 hull points, and then they've got the big. I can't remember what it's called. I have to check before we start the game. But it's got the dual cannon on the front. You know, and I think it can shoot 15 shots, strength 6, AP 3, or if it stays stationed, it can shoot 30 shots. I think the range might be 24 or 36. But whatever it is, you know, you're coming 12 inches on, you've got 24, 36 inch range, you're covering the whole board with 30 strength 6, AP 3 shots, which I think is huge, and I think it'll absolutely shred the Word Bearers. Having said that though, Word Bearers have got a Spartan, they've got lots of the toys and some tank destroyers. So, you know, I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'm just going to try and create as much scenery as possible, make the guys work a little bit harder for their game. So to that end, let's get on with it. I'm still not 100% sure how I'm going to do it, so this section might take a long time, me fiddling around, so I'll try not to talk too much in between, but I'll always share my thoughts with you as I go. I've got about an hour to build this board before the two guys arrive, so I asked them to come quite early because it was their first time on the channel, and there's a lot to get through on each day. So let's get on with it. I'll start building the boards. See you in a minute. I've got all these different sized tiles left over from the board I filmed with Jack and Miles, so it'll allow me to fill the gaps. I appreciate that when you look at it, there'll be lots of different sizes, so I'm going to try and avoid that as much as possible. But it's just making it work. As I said, I haven't 100% decided how it's going to go. Yeah, it's tricky. A lot of these lines will be able to hide with the building, so it won't be too bad. I might just build up a section here to have the buildings, and then that'll hide all of these little sections here. So we'll carry on with it. Right. never goes as easy as you'd hope it to, is it? I'll have to just swap this round. You can see this side we've got a bit of a gap here. I don't have a tile to fit in there. I could go and cut one, but it just makes hell of a mess, and I've kind of want to try and keep the place as tidy as possible really today. So I've just filled it, so there's a bit of a gap there. You won't see it once the tile goes on. I hope we've got a couple more. Oh, it's always the way, isn't it? Just shy of one tile. What I might do then, because this one's completely covered up, I'm just going to rob it from there, because we won't see it. Give it a bit of support in the meantime. So it's a little bit like cheating, but it does work. There we go. That's what I've got. Might try and see if there's a little broken piece here to fill this gap with, which there isn't. I could always break a piece off, but I've got a bit there. Look at that, it's almost perfect for the job. Leave that one there. There we go. So that's, I think for me, that's it. Might just level up this gap here. We've got 3 inches. This one's a little bit more, so we can just do dragging this one out just a little bit. Cool. So we've got 3 inches everywhere. 3 inches everywhere. That's fine. Yeah, quite happy with that. So what we'll do is we'll get a line that essentially runs like that, right across the front, and then that'll all be black gravel, I guess, whatever you want to call it. What I might try and do is I might try and level these up, which will give us a little. It'll make the front ends a little better. So I might have 3-inch. Oh, I mean that's pretty close. That's close. The problem is here. I haven't got a piece here to do it. Quite know how I'm going to do that. Might just pop that there. Could always come around and have something here. I think that would be quite interesting. Could use the zonal Thalex tiles in there actually. Yeah, let's do that. See how high they are in comparison. I think it's fairly close. And then we can put the industrial area here and still block it in. Always in the last box that you go to. It's a little bit taller actually, and obviously doesn't fit. What can we do? We can reduce the size of this down. Bit of resistance here going on. Here we go. This edge here, you probably can't see it on the camera, but there's about an inch gap there, which, if I'm honest, it's 1.5 inches, is not ideal. But I don't have a lot I can do about it. Tricky. I might try. Can try and fill it. Yeah, it doesn't quite work, unfortunately. I think it'll look a bit odd. So I'm not going to bother with the Zone Mortalis tiles. Just, for me, it just looks a bit weird. So we're going to try and avoid that as much as possible. I hate compromising on a design. I think that's about in keeping with the rest of it. That works really nicely. You know, I could have used the Forge World City Fight tiles, you know, could have done that easily, and it probably would have saved a lot of grief, but I just like, I think the tile's a bit too restrictive, and you can only put the buildings on the foundation parts, I guess, and you always roughly end up with the same sort of board. I know you can rotate them and there's infinite possibilities and all that lot, but I just think it, I don't think you get a lot of room to move, and I understand that's the whole point of City Fight, it's supposed to be confined space, but I don't think they're as good as they could be. I think the better thing to do would be to cut all of the foundation bits off them and then orientate them on your board on like a generic grey, almost like tiles, I guess. But I like the freedom to move stuff around. But I'm pretty happy with where I am with this now, so that's great news. I'm going to clear down, and the first thing I'm going to do is to build the bunker wall. I think that's the most important thing to do. And then we'll get on putting the buildings. I'm just fiddling with the line. I like everything to be a set equal distance apart. It's really frustrating. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think what we might do is we might. See what I tried to do? I tried to just make it equal as possible, but it's not going to happen, so I just have to accept the fact that it's not going to work. I am going to switch some of these similar pieces out with some damage sections. They're actually a tiny bit wider, so if we put one more in, it might actually close the gap. They're only wider by, I don't know, a couple of mil. I might get another one of those. The other thing we can do, just to make things a little bit more interesting and get that symmetry that I'm so longing for, is to pull this one out. We've got 2 lines before we go to a bunker, so let's put that bunker in. And we've got this bunker here, 2 wall sections, 2 wall sections, and then we can come out like this. I'll have to just put a tile here. So we'll see if this works first of all. Then this section. Oh, it's close. Ah, not quite there, is it? Right. Oh, so close. Alright, what I can do then, just to get it all in, I can move it, the angle ever so slightly. That's the best I'm going to have to do. What I might do is on the end now, I might just put some barrels just to block that. Just to block that end in. But we've got a line. I quite like this. It's a little bit interesting. It'll allow some of the black stone to kind of infiltrate around here, which will make it look a little bit different. If I'm honest, it's not perfect, but it will have to do. Running out of time at the moment. Might, do you remember this one's slightly wider? I might just pop this one in here, and that'll force the whole thing along by a tiny bit. And I've got another one of those sections, and I'll do the same this side, and it'll just help close that gap a little bit. I like the board to tell a story, and for me a massive gap in the lines, because I've run out of size sections of wall, it makes no sense to me. So if I can kind of close that gap, it'll make me feel a little bit better. Another idea I've just had to make this gap closed like this. I'm going to put this section in here. It doesn't quite fit. Okay, that works. That's all right. So we've got a big hole, and we'll reinforce this area with some barrels and things. One thing I have got, which I completely forgot about, is we've got these barrels. So that, I think that's what I'm going to do. We can reinforce that there, and we'll put a load of stone here, and a load of rubble when this black stone will just filter over here. I think that, for me, makes it look a little bit more believable. It's like it's been repaired, which I quite like. Here we go, that's better. So I keep messing around. It's that pursuit of perfection that I'm after. You know, I should have been an Emperor's Children player. There we go. That for me works a lot better. I'm just going to use one, then put some bits. There's a tiny little gap. It's about ½ an inch. But at least I've got the symmetry now, which is what I was after. Doesn't quite work here. So we've got 1, 2, this section, and then we've got 1 and a bit. But yeah, much happier now. Right, after hours of searching, took me ages to find this. This is stuff we're going to use. It is Unipack Aquatic Decor. Got it from my local aquarium. What is it? It's Limpopo black sand. If that makes sense to you, that's brilliant. It's a 10 kilo bag. It was $19.99, super cheap. This stuff is really fun. I used stuff before, but I think it's too big. I did originally buy this for Adeptus Titanicus, but we've been using kind of Martian sandy stuff. So I'm going to use it for this board today. As I said, it's really fine, and I think it'll look a lot better at 28mm. So I'm just going to cut the top off and literally just pour it into the space in front. Alright, so that's that down now. It's got a really lovely texture to it. It won't, it's not as coarse as sand, but sand, you know, if you're careful with your models, it won't damage them anyway. But this is just really nice, and as you see, it just flows into all of the nooks and crannies, which is exactly what we want it to do. And this is why I use a lot of sand and this sort of material in my boards, because it just closes the gaps and helps merge everything together. I think it's a little bit deep against those walls. We need quite a bit over this end. Perfect. And you know, if you were doing an entire 6x4 board in this and then using stone or whatever on top, you'd probably need 3 or 4, well, I'd say probably maybe 5 bags perhaps. Depends how thin you spread it really, but you'd need quite a few. Now, it does look quite boring. I get that, totally get that. So we are going to spice it up in a minute. You can see what I'm going after. It's the contrast, and you'll see it a lot better. You would have seen it a lot better in the board on the battle, but just creates that really nice contrast and kind of separates those two areas out. And I love that. I love that contrast. In hindsight, I probably should have put masking tape down, double-side masking tape, the defense line in place, but the guys will just have to be a bit careful with it. Cool. I will eventually blend some of that into here, but I want to get my buildings in place and then get all the broken bits of rock and stuff around here first. So I'm going to try and put some line of sight blocking terrain here. There has to be something, I might even go with the crates, because at the moment if I put some black rocks on here, it will just look black on black and it won't show up very well, whereas if I put the high contrast colours of the red, the yellow or the green crates on here, and maybe the little servo hauler type thing, that will probably work quite well. But let me go get some rocks. You know, the beauty of this is now we can blend the containers into this like they've been there a long time, and the the wind is just blowing all of this stone. We can just build up some layers on here now to make it look like they've been there a long time, and that'll serve as a hill as well, because you know, you could easily hide a 10-man tack unit behind there, or some jump infantry, or even obscure a super heavy tank. You know, easily do that. So that works quite well. I'm going to put some barrels and some munitions here just to break up the eye a little bit. But I think that works really well. Really pleased with that. And I'm going to do a similar sort of thing a bit further down here. Not exactly the same. I don't want to duplicate it, but a little bit similar. So what I've done is I've just loaded up one of these barrels, one of these crates with a load of barrels and ammo. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it like that and let the stuff fall out. Probably doesn't work that well. We'll have to just turn it around. Yeah, I quite like that. It worked really well. I'm just going to put some through there. That works. Thin it out a little bit. It's quite thick in places. You know, the other thing is we could take some of it away from the board, you know, and just thin it out. But I'm quite happy with that. And what I'm going to do is I've got a load of very small slate, and I'm just going to, once I put the buildings down, I'm just going to scatter that anywhere randomly over the board, maybe over here as well. Try and get a bit more of these defense lines showing through. Alright, next thing, I need to start building the city. Time is getting all over this now. I think I've been going for about, I don't know, about half an hour perhaps, so I need to crack on. I'm going to build the city next. I'm always thinking about line of sight. I moved this from there to there because it doesn't offer a lot of line of sight. So I'm going to pop that there like that, and I think that works better. Got a bit more cover here. Always got to think about, you've got to make the guys work for their game. I'm going to have one final building here, and I think we're probably near there. I might put another couple of crates here. Might do something this end. Yeah, I'll have a think. Not quite happy with it. It's too much space for my liking. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this the large, you know, almost the largest building on the city here. I'm going to rotate that round, making sure that all the buildings on a similar facing, size-wise. Just want a massive line of buildings. I think that looks a lot more imposing. We need something in the foreground here. You've got some of the GW plastic Craters of the Moon set. Really love this set of of craters. You know, I also use the ones from Unreal Wargaming Studios. Griff makes some amazing, fairly realistic craters as well. I really enjoy those. I'm going to move this just slightly. I think we're really close. I don't want it to be too enclosed, but I do really like what I've got. A couple of little bits to add now. All right, what seems like forever, I've managed to separate some of the older black stones from the grey slate, which we're going to use in the buildings just to create a little bit of texture throughout the board. So, you know, you've all seen this before. It's quite a liberal spread of stuff. So, just going to get on and do that now. I do need to get a lot more of that stuff. There's certainly not enough of it. Okay, I think what I'm going to do to further blend some of that in to the rest of the board, I'm just going to add a bit of the of this black stuff. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and blend some of these stones we've added into the rest of the board, just to make it look like it's all part of the rest of the battlefield. So it just all ties it together quite nicely. I might get my airbrush out quickly and just blow some of the unwanted unwanted black stone out of the way. I'm just going to try and merge it together a little bit. I know it looks a little bit rough right now, but once we get the airbrush on it, it will make a huge difference. Yeah, I think that's about right, if I'm honest. Yeah. Okay, we'll get the airbrush out now and we'll get that sorted. Alright, last thing to do is we're just going to try and blow some of this stone, some of this small black stuff, just to make it a little bit more believable. You know, you saw me just throwing the stuff onto the board. Now we just need to give it a blow around and just force it into the edges of the building, force it up against this, because, you know, you can imagine if the wind was blowing, the aggregate, I guess, the stone would get caught on this step here. So all we're going to do is just use the airbrush and just blow it up against that, and it also creates some really interesting lines. It just makes the whole thing a little bit more believable. You know, and then as the battle progresses, you know, the tanks and the infantry will walk through it, and, you know, it'll push up some of the stone, and, you know, it kind of makes it a bit more, I don't know if realistic is the right word, but it certainly makes it look a little bit different. So I'm going to crack on with that. The airbrush might kick in, but the compressor rather, but I'll glaze over that with some music probably. Yeah. I think for me that's done. You'll see when I do the photos later, if I do the top-down photos, you'll see where all of this black aggregate has kind of collected, and it's forced itself against the front step here. It's made a reasonable clear channel between the buildings, the generator, and the bunkers here, and I think it looks really good. So that's the board finished. I've got to wait for the guys to arrive, and then we'll get on with the game. I really hope you've enjoyed these series of board builds. I think it just demonstrates that, you know, with 50 quid from B&Q on kitchen tiles and using your existing scenery, you can just create unique boards that are just different every single time, so you're not playing on the same board game after game after game. Hope you enjoyed it. Speak to you soon.